Hi, Mandy. Hi, Debbie. How you
Yeah.
doing?
Hey.
So, my name is Maya, and I'm former senior front-end developer at Cloudinary. I'm still not used to the word former here. Technically, at the moment, for today, I'm unemployed on purpose.
Between
But anyway,
jobs, Maya, between jobs, not
we
unemployed.
win job. We win job. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's hard to keep secret, but I'm trying to keep my secret. So as far I can. Anyway, so let's start. And Debbie and Mandy, feel free to talk about yourself.
Mandy, you go
You go
first.
first.
No, you go.
Yeah. Okay, you guys can do paper, scissors, rock, and decide who go first.
Yeah.
I I got you.
What? Okay, again. One, two, three, go.
Yay! I cut you up.
Okay, so you go first then.
Okay,
Okay,
I go
okay.
first. So, hey everyone, my name is Debbie, and actually, I have a new job as well. So, I'm now working as head developer advocate, I should say, at Bit. So, bit.dev. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. And I used to obviously work for Nuxt. You probably all know me as the head developer at Nuxt. And and yeah, what else about me? I'm a Microsoft MVP, a Google Developer Expert, a GitHub star, and many other things. And I'm here to talk about, I don't know what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about apps, aren't we? It's kind of like, yeah, we're here to have fun. So if you're out there and watching us, we're just here to have fun. That's it, nothing more. Mandy, over to
Oh, wait.
you.
Yes,
Thanks,
in
Debbie.
Mandy.
My name is Mandy. I'm a software engineer at Higher Up Australia. Also, a pretty new job. I only started there in January, so we're all like doing new things, which is really exciting.
2021.
Yeah. I used
Oh,
to
well.
be a development manager for a news organization in Australia, but I'm getting back in the dev work and building stuff. It's been really fun. Um, I think that's like the main thing about me. Like, yeah.
And you build really, really cool stuff, like with like lights and mobile phones
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, like
My City JS talk is going to be about building cool stuff, which is going to be fun.
Oh, I can't
Uh,
wait for that. So,
yeah,
what
yeah,
about
yeah.
you, Debbie? What kind of talk are you going to talk? Okay, I guess nuts. Oh,
no,
bit of them.
for City
Oh,
JS, like in a couple of weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't written that talk yet. It's in my head.
So you're
Don't
going to
tell
do live,
anyone.
right? Wait, so you're going to do live?
Yeah, I'm going to do it live because I like live. I'm all
Let's
about
shake
just
hands.
do it live. Yeah, no, I'm going to do a talk that's really interesting, and I can't write it because it's only just finished, right? But it's like the journey. So it's about stepping outside your comfort zone, and it's kind of all about also about me moving from Nux to Bid and like taking that massive step and how you can do that so you can be like me, Mandy and Maya, and change your job in 2021.
Join us.
Okay. Since Debbie and Mandy already talked about themselves, so I will just add a bit about myself. So you already know I'm former senior front-end developer in Cloudinary, which is an awesome company that's doing image and okay, what else? Oh, yeah, image and video manipulation. I just be away from the company for 2 days or 3 days,
And
and I
you're
only
still talking
forgot.
about them.
And yeah, I'm going to talk in GTJS about X state, which is state management in a proper way, in the more nice way. No, shocking. And basically, it's about X end state, so we call it X state. And well, yeah, I'm also like Mandy and like Debbie. I'm moving job. I just resigned from Cloud like last week, and next week I'm starting in my new job in. Should I tell her? Should I tell
Yeah,
her?
don't tell Maya. It's just between us. We won't tell anyone, I promise.
We online, Debbie. We lie. Okay, so
Go
I'm
Maya.
going to
Go
anyway.
Maya.
I'm going to. Okay, so next week I'm going to start my new job in Microsoft. Yep, yep, yep,
Microsoft
yep,
Maya.
yep.
That is
Microsoft
amazing.
all the way.
That is
Yep,
amazing. Wow.
yeah. Well, the most it's amazing that the most common question I got since I announced I'm going to Microsoft is that, are you going to switch to Windows instead of Mac? That's the thing.
Are you?
Are you going to use Windows instead? I was like, no way. But now I'm not sure anymore.
No, you'll still use Mac. Everyone I know that works at Microsoft all use Mac.
Well, by right, they should have asked me what computer to choose, but they haven't asked me, so I'm afraid.
Well, you haven't
But
started
yeah,
yet. Give it time. Give it time.
yeah, we will know by Thursday. We will know. So, yep.
Mm.
So yeah, today is International Woman Day, which is
Woohoo.
all about woman power. And yes, we own three awesome women here. We are going to talk about anything we want to talk about, anything that Mandy want to talk, anything that Debbie found interesting, and of course, anything that Maya feel like we should talk about. But first, Mandy and Debbie, you the one here. And yes, if you want to find some inspiration, yeah, you can. I hope after our chat today, you can find inspiration from three of us and go and change your job.
We're such
Hopefully
bad
not.
influences. First thing, just change your job.
Well, change your job means move upward, don't move
Yes,
downward.
yes.
Yeah, go ahead. So, okay, so let's start. Mandy, do you want to start, or what do you want to talk about?
Um,
Anything?
Actually, I do think the changing your job thing is really interesting. Because I'm the kind of person that stays at a place for quite a long time. Like my last job, I was there for 5 years, and I
Wow.
changed roles a few
Wow.
times. So like I was a front end developer, then I was lead front end developer, then I was development manager, and then my job before that, I was there for 6 years. But in that time, I started there as a project manager, not as a developer. And then I was a front end developer, and then I became head of front end. So like although technically I was at those places for a long time, during the progression, I kind of changed to a bunch of different roles, one of them going from project management to development. And I think like even just recently changing from dev manager to, what is going on?
No, I'm just testing. I'm sorry. Mandy.
That's okay. I forgot what I was saying now.
Well, Mandy, I want to ask you, do you think that you stayed in the job so long because you live in such a remote place, right? You live in Perth. Like, do you have limited options and therefore you kind of are inclined to stay longer in the same place?
That's a good question. Maybe that was part of it. I would say that a big part of why I stick around is because I get comfortable in a place, and I find, when you get comfortable somewhere, I guess this sort of is good because you're going to talk about getting uncomfortable, right, Debbie? So like you get comfortable there, right? And then you're just like, this is easy. And then, you just sort of, rather than moving to a new company, I would move into a new role with more responsibility. And so I still got to have a change and learn something new and I guess be uncomfortable in my development. But then eventually I would hit a point where I'd be like, I'm not really getting anything out of this anymore. And although, I like it here and I know how things work and everything, maybe that's like not really right for me anymore. I need to go do something different. But with everyone going more remote now, there are a lot more options in Perth. The company I work for is based in Sydney, and I work from Perth, so now there are a lot more options for Perth.
That's actually cool. Yep. I must say that that's one thing the Corona did well. That it's actually proved to all the companies that the remote working really works. So they don't have any excuse to tell you that you have to be in the office all the time. Which is cool.
Yeah, we've got the technology.
Yeah. Also, if we want, we can always have a flight there or go to the office if we want to, or even have a Zoom talk, or we can meet each other in a conference anywhere. Hopefully. And well, talking about when you're talking about changing jobs, so what do you find most challenging when you decide to change job?
So Maya, I'm very experienced in this because my curriculum, my family have bets on me when I start a new job, like literally bets. How long is Debbie going to last in a job? That's basically what it comes down to, right? And it's not my fault, right? Because it's like, I don't know, just I get to a stage where sometimes it's like I outgrow companies or something, right? I get to a stage very quickly that it's like, there's nothing else for me to do here. I'm not learning. There's nowhere else for me to go. I can't grow any higher in the company. So you change jobs, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, then, Nuxt came along, and that was like, I wasn't really ready to leave the other company in a way, but Nuxt came along and it was like, oh my God, I'm definitely going to leave any company for Nuxt. So that was like, no questions asked. And I had a deal with them. I was going to stay 2 years, and they were really annoyed. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry. Anyway, and then I'm in Nuxt, and I said, right, I said it to my husband. I said, this is it. My dream job. I am not leaving my dream job. I'm here, and I'm just going to grow in Nuxt, and it's going to be perfect, and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even last a year. And it's like, it's not my fault. Because this other company contacted me, and I said no 3 times, and we just had these chats. And then I just saw, wow, I could actually learn so much in this, and I could grow so much. And it's like so different and so big. And it's like, wow. And I just went, actually, I want to take this job, even though it's going to cry, leaving Nuxt and stuff, but I can still be in Nuxt because Nuxt is open source, which is great. But yeah, all my family are like, my mom just says, don't tell me, just don't tell me. I don't want to know.
What's your average time at a job, Debbie? Do you know?
I don't make 2 years.
Wow, interesting. That's funny because I'm a stayer, and you jump to sort of grow, whereas I grew within a company and then move when I reached. Yeah.
Maybe I just never joined the company that you can grow in. So
Maybe.
And remember, I come from a very small island, so we're very limited in the places we can go. There are no big, massive companies. So, it's very different. And now with being able to go remote, it's given me that opportunity to join a company that is growing and going upwards, and that I can possibly grow with. Because I really don't want to leave this job in a year. I really don't. I'm like, come on, I want to stay here. It's like, this is it.
So, Debbie, you have to stay. You have to stay until you come to Israel and meet me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm more like an average when you too, because I also don't stay in the one same company for very long time. I think up until now, mostly 3 years. None of the company past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, with Microsoft will be different, because this once I find it's a little bit unchallenging or uncomfortable for me, and it always happens that when I start to feel like a little bit uncomfortable, and then suddenly some opportunity grown up, and I'm more like a how's it grabber. I would jump at the opportunity if I found that it's worth it for me to jump. But it also depends, because actually I got the offer a year and a half ago. Debbie knows about it.
Yes, you said no. You said no almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, I just said no to them once. So I wouldn't think that they will ever ask me again. And they did come to me again, and this time much faster. So, sometimes it worked to say no the first time or the second time and wait for the right moment.
It's really hard to say no. It's really hard to say. I have a problem saying no, especially even conference talks or something. I say yes, 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 and then I end up doing all these stuff, and I'm like, why am I doing all this, right? but I am. But seriously, if there's any recruiter out there watching this, please do not contact me. I am not. I just go away.
Debbie, you make a wrong choice there. You should say, I'm a very tough person. You cannot get me, so don't contact me. Now they know. They all know.
No. Literally, if you want to hire me from now on, you have to speak to my mother first.
No, speak to Maya first.
It's easy.
So, Mandy, what is your new job title?
Head Developer Advocate.
Wow. So both of you are head of developer advocate. Debbie also head of.
No, she's head of. What are you head of?
No. I'm not a head of anything.
Oh, you got your head. You got your head.
I dropped that. I dropped that.
She's
headless. I dropped that.
She's headless.
Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, I see what you did there. No, I'm a software engineer. I actually wanted to. So managing people was really fun, but I needed a bit of a break, and I wanted.
No, no,
Not
no,
fun.
no,
You can be
no,
honest, Mandy,
no,
it's not
no,
fun.
no, you don't want, you don't.
I like management. I think you learn a lot about working with people
You do.
when you manage a team. But I wanted to focus on my development skills for a while because, as I'm sure many people know, when you become a manager, you have less time to code. At
Yeah.
least in a lot of jobs. And I felt that I was getting a little bit stale. And like my dev skills were falling behind, and I'd have to do more in my like free time. So I wanted to go back to being a developer. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. It's really fun. I forgot what it's like to code for a full day, and it's delightful. Would
It is fun
recommend
to be.
for the managers out there, like
Yeah.
go back to being a dev for a while.
I was the same when I was like before I joined Nuxt. I was team leading, and I was like leading teams in like different companies, going into companies, and working on their architecture, solving all their problems for them. But I wasn't coding. It wasn't me pressing the buttons. Yet I was doing all the work, all the mental work. But it was like, no, I want to actually press buttons. It's like I need to stop. And joining Nuxt for me was great because I got to actually develop and build and do stuff. And now in this job even more, I'm like, oh my god, I'm just nonstop. Like it's so great. Yeah, everyone should do it.
Yeah, I never really want to take any management position. So it's like it's always hard for me to manage people. I rather manage software, manage pictures, manage design, but to be a team leader, to be
More
a manager,
fun, isn't it? You get to build and have fun like a
it's
child.
hard. It's hard. Like you have to deal with all this
Babysitting,
noise,
babysitting, Maya.
babysitting.
Sometimes managing is babysitting, and it's like, oh, I just want to work. I just want to actually be productive.
What I liked about managing was that you kind of got a broad picture of different people and how they work, and it gave you the opportunity to help those people, build up their skills in the areas that maybe they couldn't see that they had like a weakness in. And I always thought that was fun, especially seeing somebody like actually grow and develop while you were assisting them. Like I always got a bit of a kick out of that. It's nice to see people like grow as a person and as a developer, and you guiding them. Like I don't have kids, but I feel like it would be somewhat like that maybe.
This is like what I did with the ambassador program. I had like, the Nuxt ambassadors, and look at Maya. She went to Microsoft, and I'm so proud of you, Maya. Like I did that, it was because of me.
Yeah. And it's good to see people like grow into their thing and be amazing. And you can be proud of them, and you can be like happy that they're doing awesome things. Especially when it's women that you're helping, because you get to have more women like be amazing and awesome, and see other people be like, wow, they're so amazing and awesome, and you're like, yay. So I like that about it.
The difference between you two and me is I have 3 kids, so I have enough of looking at my kids growing. Joking.
This is a good point, Maya, because I like to point this out because not everyone knows Maya and knows the amazing things she does. And Maya is a mother of 3 very small children and still has to do the motherly tasks and still programs and still goes to conference and still does everything. And I think that is something that should be admired about you, because I think you rock and I think you do that very well. So well done.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of found it's not. I mean, I thought of it as very normal things to do, like, and well, everyone can do it. So I was just like, okay, I have some time, I just do it. I don't really think so much, but now that you put it that way, I feel like I'm awesome.
You are awesome. Maya literally gave birth and then like was programming the next day on the computer in the hospital because the baby was sleeping. Wow. So she's like, the baby's sleeping, so I can't do anything, so I'll just build a program. And
wow.
So it was not literally look like this. It was like I have a C-section because of my my 2 previous birth. I have a emergency C-section. So now the doctor said I cannot really give birth normally. So they said, okay, I'm going to set up a C-section day. So if I've already set up the day, I may as well just go there, relaxing. So I do it. I like while I'm waiting for the for the time I'm going to be in the operation, I send Debbie a message asking how I'm going to deploy this, just to make sure that it get ready before I go to maternity leave. And then after that, my baby is in the special care, so I have to like 24 hours free of things. And like what I'm going to do with 24 hours.
I mean, why
Yeah.
not?
That's
I have
Maya.
to hop into computer to check up this. I check it, just check a tiny. I promise, a tiny code like. But yeah. But now look, I'm in big wing shop and I barely took my laptop. Well, it's broken, so
iPad.
well, I'm sure when you have a chance, you will be the same like me, Debbie. So, okay. So, what are your plan doing for what are you planning for International Women Day? Is there anything interesting?
Well, it's what's the time for me now? It's now 8:30 at night. So International Women's Day
Oh
is
gosh.
almost over for me. And sadly I worked. I did read a few good posts and watch a few like well, panels and stuff that people were running. But mostly I just worked today, unfortunately. Or
Well,
fortunately, I did have a
I
fun day,
think
so
you
I'm not
should
really
be.
gonna complain.
I think you should say fortunately because I actually feel proud of the fact that I'm working in a really, really cool job at a really, really cool position as a woman on, and I think that that's something to be celebrated. I actually celebrate the fact that I work because I think that's something that, we should be proud of as women, that we have got to where we have got and that other people can see that they can
Yeah,
do that
indeed,
too. And
indeed.
Did have
We
a
should.
fun day, so no complaints. I like my job. It's good.
yes,
Get to code
Well,
stuff.
all we have to be grateful that we have something to do, and we are women, and we're like we actually rock the whole world.
we do. We do.
Exactly. So I was about to ask you, Debbie. So how do you find a? Do you have any like what you can? Do you have any advice for people who doing like thinking of changing jobs or who are going to a a process of making decision? Because I know that it's hard for you to make a decision to leave Next and to join Big Dev. So maybe Mandy also have the same problem. And also me, also have a very hard time decide the decision, make a decision myself. So how do you overcome that? What are anything you want to advise other women out there?
Yeah. So yeah, when I gave in my notice at Nuxt, I actually like you could say almost cried, but I actually was, when you get to like a panic and you couldn't speak, and I was like, I couldn't speak, and he's looking at me going like, what is it? Thinking like, I'm gonna die or something, right? But I was like, I actually couldn't breathe. And I was like, deep breaths, and then like I said it like, I'm thinking of leaving Nuxt, like oh my god, I can't even believe that, right? Because it was a massive step, and it's you're taking a risk of leaving somewhere that you really like, that you're really comfortable in, you're very good at your job, right? You're very, like Mandy says, comfortable. And I was very comfortable in Nux. I knew what I was doing. I love the people I work with. I know the community is behind me, and I'm thinking, why would I give all that up to go to somewhere where it's like, oh my god, I've got to learn React, so there's the React community and they don't know me, so nobody might follow me anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got to learn everything. I don't know if I'm going to learn it. I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. I don't know who the people I'm going to be working with are like. Are they going to be nice and friendly? Am I going to like it? Am I going to, oh my god, all those things go through your head, like literally like every second of the day. And the whole process of the interview process that goes on and on and on, the head is just like going crazy. So what I do is I go running, and I really find sport is really, really helpful. And I'm very lucky that we have a forest near us. So I go running in the forest. And I literally, like, while I'm running in the forest, all my decisions just get easier because I'm not in front of a computer. I'm surrounded by nature, and it's just me, and there's no sound, and there's just trees, and it's really nice. And then I started recording some videos while I was in there. And I think I recorded them for me, not for anyone else, but I just put them all on YouTube. And it's like devs in the forest. And it's all about like taking that, comfort out of your comfort zone, taking that step, walking with fear instead of against fear. And yeah, I guess I'm just crazy. And I just decided, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to like take a massive risk. hope it all works out. And what could go wrong?
Well, what can go wrong, right?
That's
How about you,
you're
Mandy?
you're much more bold than I am in that regard, Debbie. I take a much more methodical approach to deciding whether or not I leave a job. So I usually do a pros and cons list about the places, and there's always things that I'm looking for. So I wasn't looking for a job, but I kind of told a few people that if there was something that was good, then I'd be interested to hear about it. So I kind of planned the things that I wanted to get out of my next role. So I wanted to not be managing people. I wanted a remote job. And like there were a bunch of different things that I was looking for. And then I just weigh them up between my current job and the new job. And if the new job comes out equal or better, then the last decision that I make is how I feel about the people that interview me during the interview process. And I have a bunch of questions that I ask them during the interview process so I can get a feel for them. And then I make a gut decision. Like, did I like the people I was talking to? Did I think that the company seems great, the way that they describe it? Like I kind of vibe them out. And then if I like them, then I'm like, and the pros are all like good, then I'll go for the job. And I actually, the engineering manager of my team, I really liked. He was like super chill, and I don't know, I really liked his whole energy. So I was like, yeah, I could work with you. This will be fun. So that's kind of how I do it. So I'm not like, Debbie, I feel like you're like, cool, new things. Woo! Oh my God, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like,
It takes me
now
to get
let's
there.
examine the things.
I've got to
You-
run
you-
20 kilometers first to get to
You
that
two,
point.
you two are exactly like a compensation for each other. And Mandy, you are really, really go into order, and Debbie is like really out.
Yeah.
But to be honest, then Mandy, if you know how many messages that Debbie throw at me on Twitter on message about her new job, you know that she's not exactly like this.
I don't ask other people when I'm deciding to go to a new job. The only thing that I ask, like if I know somebody who works somewhere, I'll ask for information about the job. But otherwise, I don't get other people's opinions
Oh, I
because I
do.
feel like you do. I feel like
Oh,
if I
do.
don't,
5
I
people.
need to make
5
it
people.
myself.
I need like
Oh,
5
you ask
people.
5?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, because like Maya's going to tell me one thing, someone else is going to tell me another, and I do have my fears, my doubts, right? And I'm kind of thinking, am I making the right decision? So I quite like when someone says, think about this, or someone comes with a different angle, a different point of view. So I spoke to 5 different people from 5 different parts of the world who are not connected anyway to like, my new job or my old job. And that can give me just a different perspective. And it gives me the confidence, because my main thing is I think I'm not good enough to go into this role. I don't think I can do this job. I'm good at this job. Can I do this job the same? And that I think I need people to kind of like push me, because when people like just say, Debbie, you can do it, 5 people tell Debbie she can do it, then Debbie does it.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think the lowest. Sorry, Mandy. I think the lowest self-esteem is one of the very common things that we have, like low in confidence. That's also affect us in how we negotiate for our package also, right?
Yeah. And once I believe I can do it, once I believe, okay, you know what, these 5 people can't be wrong. 5 people can't be wrong. So these 5 people tell me I can do it and I'm going to be awesome at this job. And there's no interest in them. They're not hiring me. They're just like, telling me. So I'm thinking, right, they think I can do it. I can do it. And then do you know what I do? Mandy, you're going to love this. So then Debbie basically decides, that's it. I've made my decision in my head, in my heart. I've made my decision. And I basically leave my job that I'm in. And I hand in my notice before I've even signed a contract.
Oh, no,
Wow,
no,
wow.
I cannot do that.
No.
No. We're like the total opposite. This is fantastic. Yeah, no, I don't do that. I like to make sure everything's in writing, and, I've read the contract and I've had amendments done, and like, it's all my ducks are lined up. And then I go, yeah, no,
Wow.
I don't like asking people what I should do with my jobs because I feel like I'm the best person placed to decide whether or not it's right for me. You know, so I just go, I work it all through in my head. I make lists, and then once I've made the decision, then I don't change my mind. Got to be decisive on these things, which we probably are the same.
Exactly. I don't change my mind, and I know
Yeah.
I've left one job. I haven't signed, and one of our friends, Natalia, was when I was telling her, and she's like, Debbie, that's the most stupidest thing you can ever do in your life. You've just left a job, and now you haven't signed the other job. And I was like, but I will. It'll all be fine. It's gonna happen.
You're more confident than me. I just like I like my paperwork done. I like my paperwork sorted, and I like it going. But I like you, Debbie. I don't change my mind once I made a decision, and I feel like even if it was a bad decision, I don't think it's a bad decision.
It out a little bit.
It's still something new, and you can still learn something from it. So even if you find that it's not quite right for you, that's okay. You know, you were obviously ready to move on from the place that you were at. So even if you only stay there a few months or 6 months or less than a year and you find something new, or even if you go there and you feel like, oh, I should have stayed at my last job, or this isn't quite right for me, or whatever, I still don't think it's a mistake.
No.
I think you made the best decision you could, and you learned a bunch of stuff, and you'll find something better at your next job.
Have you ever regretted leaving a job? I have never regretted. If you look back, I'm like, never. Everything has gone up.
You know what? You both are very like matching to each other in a way, compatible in a way.
We are.
But to whoever listen to watching this show, please don't follow. Just follow Debbie or just follow Mandy. You need to find yourself a way that you match yourself, because we all know Debbie is awesome. But that's a way to. That is very, 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 very.
But Maya, can I say? Do you know that Debbie, when Debbie was leaving school, where I saw myself, my future, and what I decided to study and go to next, I decided that I was going to be a secretary, and I studied to be a secretary because that's what I thought I was only good for. So that's why I need people to push me further, because in my head I'm thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm only going to do this.
I think that's a very common thing for all of us also. I remember when I first studied computer programming, and I really like it. But then back then in high school, when we got to high school, they start to actually like different take, like grouping us. All the girls and the boys are grouping in different type of study. Back then in Vietnam, but now more probably changed. So I was studying something like literatures and mathematics. That is good, and they always say that the good things for girls is to study business, and the nice things, the girls are not really meant to study engineer, not meant to study anything more technical and stuff like that. So even if you have something like saying, okay, I want to study engineer, like I only want to study engineer, but like start to keep hearing the same thing over and again, make you feel like, okay, you're not smart enough, you're not going to study computer science, you're not going to study engineering, because hey, who are you compared to all the boys, all the girls out there, all the other people? You're not smart enough, just simply like that. But 20 years later, it's proven wrong. We're on here. We all advance in our career as a technical, as a programmer, as a team leader, as a head of advocate. No one can stop us from getting this, right? So it's just a matter of, do you really think that you're only good for that or not? I mean, unlike you, Mandy, when you get a new job, when you have to look at pro and con to decide what you're going to do, or whether it's best for you. Unlike Debbie, that she just to run and think like, okay, I'm ready for that. I'm more like a person to say, okay, what if if I don't do that, will I lose anything? Will I going to regret it later on? And that's always been my, I would say, my motto, like the way I'm doing things until now. So when I receive an offer, I always thought myself, okay, if I don't take it, will I regret it later? And what happened if I don't take it because I'm afraid the people is not nice to me, the job will be not good for me? Well, in the end, if I say, okay, if I'm going to regret it regardless, because I don't know what's going on in the future. So I'm going to take it. And that's how I went to study computer science also. I mean, it works fine for me, even though it was so terrible. I studied in Hebrew, so it's a
Wow.
lot of, yeah. I studied computer science in Hebrew when I have zero idea how to talk in Hebrew.
Wow. Way to make it more difficult on yourself.
It was like my husband always say, like, I'm the type of person that, and if I don't find it hard enough, so I ask couple things for it to make it harder. So like I'm going to study computer science, right? So it's already hard. So I'm going to study computer science in Hebrew, and then it make me 3 months to get my language skill up to the point I can understand what they got talking. But
Maya,
it
I was
was fine.
doing so I was unemployed for a lot of the winters of my life because I was working here in Mallorca in the hotels, and we only have like tour season is 6 months, and then you're unemployed for 6 months. And I did spend a couple of years in ski resorts and stuff, but then when I got married and settled here, I was like, right, I have to stay here, and I'm unemployed. And Debbie being unemployed for 6 months is the worst thing you can ever see in your life. So I ended up doing like these free courses that the government puts on for the unemployed, and one of them was Photoshop, and the other was web design. So I went like back to study these because everything had changed since I had first studied it. And it was all in Spanish language. Now I'd been living here, so my Spanish language was a little bit, okay, but not okay to learn Photoshop, PHP, and HTML, CSS, etc. in Spanish. And like 2 courses back to back, so 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. And I would finish, and I would just like go to an Irish bar, and I would say, "Speak to me in English, please. Just speak to me in English."
I guess sometimes we need more than just one kind of pressure to push it forward.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, again, the disclaimer for anyone who watch this live: please don't blindly follow us because we're crazy and we know it.
Mandy, what did you study?
You both were very, I guess, intentional about what you were doing. I was not initially. I started coding and building websites because I wanted to build boy band fan sites, specifically the Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys were I was obsessed.
I
So I
love
was like
the Backstreet
13,
Boys.
and I wanted to
God.
build a fan site to express my love and admiration for them. So I built Backstreet Boy fan sites. That was the first thing I ever coded.
Wait, let me guess. Are you up to Nick Carter?
I was. Yeah, I know. So unoriginal. So that's how I started. But I loved computers after that. So I did a lot of like art and stuff with Photoshop and things. And then I went to uni and studied what was then called multimedia, which was like film and radio and CD-ROMs and the thing before Flash, showing my age as a little bit there. PHP and JavaScript, early JavaScript.
Well, there was no JavaScript, was there? It was
It's
by the time I went to
it's jQuery.
well, by the time I went to uni, there was, but it was like baby JavaScript. So we did do it like a little bit. And Flash had ActionScript.
And frames.
And frames. I did my Backstreet Boy fan site did use frames. And it had a counter that counted every time you refresh the page.
Because you could do it, and a marquee going across.
Wait. Definitely had a marquee. Yeah.
And
compressed images. Do you know my biggest shame, and I think back on it sometimes and like get a little bit uncomfortable, is that I put these massive pictures that I'd made of the Backstreet Boys in Paint Shop Pro, which was a like cheap version of Photoshop. And they used to this is when dial-up was a thing. They used to load one line of pictures at a time.
I remember that.
Yeah, I look back, I think about it sometimes and I'm like, I didn't even optimize those images.
We didn't have cloud
ordinary.
I'm a bit ashamed at how like this image was humongous.
It was worth the wait. It was worth the wait.
It was. I must say, it had like balloons and their faces and stuff in it. I can still picture it clearly in my mind.
Do you still have the website hosted? Do you
No,
have
it was on
hosted?
GeoCities. But I will unashamedly tell you it was called Backstreet Babes. No regrets. It was fantastic. And because of that, I am now a web developer. But I do distinctly recall at uni when I was studying multimedia, I said to my friend who was also studying, I will never be a web developer. It just seems really hard. Because, like you got to, at the time, like testing on all of the browsers and like IE6 was still a thing. And I was like, oh, this just seems too hard. I'm going to like build set designs and stuff. But then I ended up being a web developer anyway. So, my plans didn't always turn out quite how I expected.
Actually the opposite. I didn't want to be a web developer because I hate JavaScript so much. I was like, this is not real programming. What is this? Everything is variable.
You study computer science, right? So
I was
another background, whereas we studied it. I did the same as you, Mandy. While I was in the secretarial course, I got bored because it's like boring. So I ended up sitting in on a friend who was studying graphic design, web design, and TV and video production. Kind of was one of those teach you everything, because like there was very little to teach in web design back then. And I kind of like sat in that class and I went, this is fun. And you're talking about like there was one computer for Photoshop. You had to reserve the computer. It took 15 minutes to load the program, right? So it's like back in the days. But I got an insight of like, wow, this is really cool. I actually liked it. And I loved the whole design aspect as well, just I'm not very good at design. And I got a job straight away, actually, when I finished. It was a 2-year course. It wasn't university. It was like a hands-on kind of course. And I got a job straight away, but it was really boring. I was working on with Dreamweaver and doing like, printer manuals and making sure the Swedish one kind of fit in the boxes correctly. And it was all copyright stuff. It was so boring. And that's why I left and moved to Mallorca to work on a stage as an entertainer. It's more fun.
I working with the C++ developer. So I look at the JavaScript words like saying, this is not real programming. We're dealing with algorithm. We're working on C#. We declare everything, and then one day I have to become a JavaScript developer, and that's it. I never move back. I never look back. I like completely sway away, and now every time when my husband start with, you guys are not real developer, and I start a whole fight with him about, yeah, right. We're not real developers, but we make more money than you.
I reckon if you write code, you're a developer. Like it doesn't really matter what code you write. I actually also have so at uni I got 2 degrees. I did the one in multimedia, and I also studied. It was like a Bachelor of Science. I don't think it was strictly called computer science because there was another part to it, but it was basically like computer science and databases and that kind of stuff. Because as you know, I like to be, ordered in how I do things. And I had all these electives, and I worked out if I filled all my electives with the core units of this second degree, I could get 2 degrees in 4 years.
Wow.
Instead of 1 degree in 3 years. So that's what I did. Although for the last year, I did it part-time, and I worked as an online communications manager for a PR agency, which basically meant anything that included a computer I had to do. Printers.
Wow, that's nice.
Design, web stuff. Actually, speaking of unis, I had this really cool job when I was at uni where I designed virtual worlds for multiple departments. It was the best job I ever had. All I had to do was log into Second Life. I don't know if anybody remembers Second Life. It was like a 3D virtual world. And I just had to build stuff for the university in Second Life. And they paid me to. And I'd like make all these 3D models and build up an island. And I'd like get to write code to make it do stuff. Like if you said certain words, you could like get free marshmallows, or like if you triggered certain things, it would like make a whole building appear. It was really fun. It was probably the best job I ever had.
Okay, where's your school?
You know,
I want to go and study there.
yeah, it was really, really cool. But it was fun because it was like a mix of design and development, and you know, I got to like physically make things. It was really enjoyable time.
So Debbie, what is your first things you may ever make when you start programming?
A TV site, so you know, a TV guide.
Like Netflix?
Oh, cool!
No, not like Netflix, like what's on at
Like a
7
schedule,
o'clock in
like
the evening, what's on at 8 o'clock, you know, like
yeah,
the
like a
time.
schedule.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
JavaScript?
No, there wasn't really any JavaScript back then. Seriously, it was like literally CSS was like colors only, and I mean, it was a long time ago. So it was very, very basic, but it was like, let's repeat everything all over the place. Let's put frames, you know, and that was as far as you could go, like really. And
That's nice.
JavaScript, I don't think I learned JavaScript. If I did, I don't remember ever doing JavaScript in that course. And then
Wow, that's
I
nice.
only learned JavaScript 4 years ago.
4 years ago? That's
4 years ago.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think only about 4 or 5 years ago, JavaScript started to be very more reliable than jQuery.
Yeah, but I didn't even work with jQuery. So when I was in Mallorca and I did my PHP course and I did my my Photoshop course, and I got hired as a content manager. That's how I ended up getting into it. And I was like, doing what I was doing? This is going to sound really weird, but I was working for an online sex shop. Don't tell my mother that. And basically,
well, it's already on YouTube, Debbie.
You are live, Debbie.
We're okay. She only watches Netflix. So like I would take the models and I would like take their tattoos off and I would make them skinnier. I know that's terrible. And as a woman, that is a terrible job, but that was my job, to make women skinnier, take their tattoos off and make them more beautiful so they could sell these beautiful bikinis and lingerie, right? So that was my job. And
Wow.
so I was very good at photoshopping things, but and making landing pages for the new products and stuff like that. But yeah, I ended up like staying in the front end developer role because at the time, like moving into next company, it goes into front end developer. But the front end developer, or I don't even know what I was called, to be honest, but that person always then gave it to a programmer who would do all the like magic of the JavaScript and make everything work. I just did the kind of like designy part, making like the HTML and CSS. And I was very, very, very good at HTML and CSS, but it would like, here you go, programmer. These people are amazing. They're programmers. And I actually just believed I was not good enough to be a programmer, that I was always going to stay in that design era because I couldn't seem to learn JavaScript. I bought books and I read them and I tried and I failed. I paid 7,000 euros to like an O'Reilly School of Media course and I failed to finish it.
But look,
I
here you
gave
are.
up, and I know, right?
Why
To be
do you
honest,
think?
if you want, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I
Mandy.
was just gonna say, like, how did you like? What was the point for you where you finally were able to learn JavaScript? Like, obviously, you had a bit of a rough start. So, like, what was it that made it like click for you?
So, I ended up going through a life-changing experience in my life where it was like, right, something's happened and now you've got to like focus on something else and you've got to like change your life. So you're going to change your life. You're going to make a go of something. Then the career is something I'm going to focus in. So I'm going to make a go of my career. And at the time I was teaching English because I needed to make money and web design wasn't getting me much money at the time. So I'm like, right, I don't want to be an English teacher. I need to stop what I'm doing right now. I need to give up my job. So I told my husband, I'm leaving my job. And he's like, oh my God, you can't leave a job without going for having another job. And I was like, no, I'm leaving my job so that I can get another job. And I'm going to study full time. And I'm going to use all the money that we got from our wedding that's ours. And I'm going to use it all to invest in my career and into studying. And you're going to let me do it. Thank you. And, and that's what I did. And basically, I studied in order to be able to try and get a better job and try and get back into the workplace, because nobody would hire me in web design because I didn't know JavaScript, I didn't know React, I didn't know anything. And I found open classrooms. For me, open classrooms was the key because you get a one-to-one mentoring session. And I'm just the type of person that needs that people contact, that teacher, that somebody that's going to help me. I'm just not good at reading a book and learning from a book. I'm not good at reading the documentation and learning. I like to have someone tell me that that's wrong and why it's wrong. Not just that it's wrong, because if you tell me it's wrong, I won't remember. If you tell me why it's wrong, I'll go, okay, and then I'll do it right. So yeah, I spent 9 months full-time studying JavaScript. I did 2 tech degrees, online tech degrees, and with the intention that I was going to get a job and I was going to like finally not have to work like on Sunday mornings teaching English, just to like, you know, get money, that I was going to have only one job and not have to have 2 jobs just to survive. And I just wanted a better life for myself. And I wanted to like, I don't know, just be like a normal person and just have a good career. And that's all I wanted. So yeah.
Interesting. So was it like a combination of your desire and your drive to have that job, but also the focus that you were able to give it by like dedicating like full time to learning?
Yeah, I think like being able to dedicate full time to learning helps a lot. That for sure is really helps. But I was also in a situation where my head wasn't allowing me to learn. So I was a very, very slow learner. So, you know, I'll tell you, because we're just here, because it's Women's Day. So it's kind of like something that I can kind of say, but it's a taboo kind of subject that people don't talk about. So it's like, you know, not something I normally say out loud and stuff. But I went through like 8 years of 8 years in total, and 4 years of intense hospital treatments for infertility. Right. And I had 8 actual infertilities that didn't work. Now, when you go through that and you fail, and you're going to tell me you didn't fail, but in your head you failed and you're used to failing, you fail. And between those years, I'm also in and out of jobs because companies kept closing. I kept losing my job. I'm unemployed. And it's like, your whole mindset is like, you know, I'm not good at doing anything. I can't do anything. So I got to the stage where I'd given up on me. I'd given up on life. I'd given up on everything. And I did a dream builder course. A friend of mine was running, and she's like, I want to help you. I need to help you. And, you know, she asked me what my dream is. And I was like, well, you know, my actual dream, like, okay, my dream is to work for Google, but, you know, that's never going to happen. So what's the point in having dreams? And she said, whoa,
well, you never
wait
know.
a second here. Tell me what Google is and define this. And then we ended up like kind of saying, right, well, maybe it is possible. Maybe I can actually, you know, yeah, you live in a small island, but, you know, you have other opportunities. And it just kind of happened from there. But I was so negative in my head. I just kept thinking, I can't do this. I can't do this. Because I had that one-to-one mentoring person who was constantly in the chat, constantly seeing me and telling me, you know what, you can, look what you've done. That's amazing. This is brilliant. You can do this. That helped me a lot. Not everyone needs a one-to-one person, but I needed it. And in the frame of mind I was in, you know, and I was just constantly, like when I got hired on my first job after doing this, after a month, I actually messaged the CEO and I said, if you're going to sack me, can you just please just let me know first so I can try and fix it? And he's like, why would I sack you? And I was like, because I always just lose everything good I get. So I'm just like ready, like waiting to lose it. And like, it's true, right? But it was, yeah, and that's how I felt. And it was like, I just was so afraid of losing it. I'm not used to good things happening. It's all overwhelming now. I'm like, oh my God, I've got this amazing job and people like, you know, follow me on YouTube. And it's like, oh my God, like this is for me it's incredible because I went through so many years of failure. So to get to success is like, wow, how did I get here? This is incredible.
Well, you're incredible anyway. So, you know, there's nothing for you to be worried about it. And take it from me. I'm the crazy person who give birth to 3 and still working all the time. So
yeah.
No, but yeah. It's incredible stories, Debbie.
Yeah.
Right?
But yes,
well, you know,
anyone can do
that's
it.
one thing.
Anyone can get to coding if you're out there and you want to try it. If you're like a housewife at home and you know you're just sick of your job and you really need to make a change in life. I'm 41 years of age and I've learned JavaScript 4 years ago. So don't let age stop you. Don't let your previous career stop you. Don't let anything stop you. Just go and just do it.
Yeah, you just need to set a goal for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really common for people to feel like they can't do something and to feel like, you know, you're never going to be able to do something that somebody else does. Like that is a really common thing that like I feel that all the time. But what I usually think to myself is, Firstly, I don't like other people telling me what I can and can't do, because I feel like, well, what do you know about me? Like, maybe I can do it. But I think, like, when you sit with yourself and you think I can't do something, and you hold on to that for too long, you start to believe it yourself. So I think for everyone that is out there, like, whoever you are, like, even if you think you can't do something, you may as well give it a go, right? Because what are you going to lose if you can't do it in the end? And most of the time, like, anything you want to do, you can, if you give it like enough time and effort, or you have the support from people to assist you to get there. And you know, there's not a lot that can stop you once you try, I think. And
Well,
you know, Debbie, you're a good example of that. You know, like,
yeah, like
doing
I
something, driving.
I always say, like, if you don't do it, you lose instantly. But if you do it, you will have a chance. Like, it
Yeah,
maybe 1%,
exactly.
maybe 0.99%. You still have chance to win. So,
Yeah,
well,
totally.
I personally also I really understand where you come from there, because I got a very low self-esteem, like super low. Sometimes it's like I I'm so grateful that I have my husband with me, because he's the one who keep my esteem at the balance. So I'm very happy to find someone like that. But yeah, I mean, we always found some difficulty. Mostly we struggle with ourselves more than we struggle outside people outside. Sometimes we need one person to tell us how great we are doing, just for the sake of confidence. So if we want, hmm?
And just because you said that one person, I had this with my husband where I said, you need to tell me that I'm amazing every day, because I need to hear it, you know? And I told him, and he was every day, he's like, you know, Debbie, you're amazing. I was like, yes, okay, I've got this. And then he kept forgetting. And I was like, come on, you got to tell me this. So I got really annoyed with him, and I was like, right, forget it. So I programmed Alexa, and every morning I say, Alexa, good morning. And she tells me the weather, so I know if I can go running or whatever. And then she says, Debbie, you are amazing. And I'm like,
Oh
yes,
my
let's start my day.
gosh! Oh my gosh!
So everyone out there, program Siri, Alexa, Google, whatever it is, like, seriously. And then I did it to my mother's Alexa when I was at home, and I programmed hers, and it's like, Barbara, you are amazing. And she's like, yes. So it really helps. It really works.
Gosh.
I reckon people should tell themselves that they're amazing every day, even if you say it and you don't mean it, because you're having a really rubbish day, and like you say it and like you can feel that you don't really mean the words. I still think you should say it out loud to yourself, because I think like that can help you get past
Yeah.
feeling like really depressed or down. Like, obviously there's a lot more to it than that, but when I've had some really bad times, just, you know, you think some really dark thoughts sometimes, and the best way for me to move out of that is to try and counteract that with something a bit more positive, because otherwise I'll just find myself getting deeper and deeper into despair, and not being able to get out of it. Like, I feel like you have to help bring yourself there as well. Because for me, I put walls up when things are bad. So it doesn't matter how many people tell me that I'm amazing. I don't want to hear it. And they're not getting anywhere near me. So I need to do it from the inside out, so that I can listen to the people on the outside and be open to that. Otherwise, like, 1,000 people could tell me all at once, and I would just think they're wrong.
I
think it's
like
important to say, like, we're all amazing, and everyone at home, no matter what you're doing and what you've done in your life, you are all amazing. We're all amazing. Let's just all be amazing together.
No, you're all amazing together. Even you haven't started programming, if you don't want to do programming, you want to do something else, just as long as you want to do it, you can do it for sure. And me, Debbie, and Mandy already proved for you. We are three different women here with three different backgrounds, three different experience. We all have our own way to decide what's good for us, and we always make it. We all make it. Either me, I mean, I was like Debbie with her head of advocate. Yeah,
and
like
we have some more stuff tonight. Like, I'm actually going to be telling my full story tonight in a talk in in the meetup tonight, and there's some other amazing talks that might inspire you and might help you to kind of like, choose that career. Or maybe you're already starting your career and you want to just like move forward or change your job or do whatever. So yeah, we have that tonight as well. So come on. I'm saying tonight, but Mandy will be in bed, so Mandy won't be there, but I'll be there.
I will be. I
No,
will
no, no,
be sleeping.
wait,
Yeah.
Debbie. If tonight, I mean, Mandy will be awake. Maybe she will have her
Well,
breakfast.
tonight, as in this afternoon, this evening. I don't know. I get confused with all these times.
I
You know what I
will
mean?
definitely be sleeping if it's this evening, I reckon.
I just want to say, if any one of you that ever moved to a new place, a completely new place with a new language like me, well, I did it 10 years ago, and you are feel down or feel out of place, just don't feel out of place. All you need to do is take your first step, learn the language, and you'll be there. I mean, it was not easy for me to learn the language because my native language, which is Vietnamese, is completely different from Hebrew, which is the, how do you say it? It's the sign language, like a not the
Different
Latino
characters.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
And
I
it
also
goes
have
right
English.
the other way.
And I need to move read from left to right to left. Yeah, and it was not that easy, but when I look back, it was like, okay, it's fun. I tried. I'm glad I did it. And it was the first thing that I did in order to be able to adapt to the new environment. So if you ever feel down, just remember that you can do it. You, me, Debbie, Mandy, any of us, a woman, we can do it. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. By the way, if people tell you you're awesome, take it. If
Yes,
someone tell
believe
you
it.
you're not awesome, just kick the person out of your mind. Don't even need to hear it.
Because then
Really.
they're not worth listening to. Yes.
Yeah, they weren't
You know,
listening to. Yeah, they are probably jealous of you. They don't know how to appreciate you. And for people like that, ignore them. For the good of your life.
you know, from what you said about one step at a time, one thing that I like to remember is a few years ago, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And the higher up you go, the harder it gets to breathe and the more like the tougher it gets because of the altitude sickness. But the guides that were with us would like walk along with you and they would say, just one more step, just one more step. And then they're like, just count. And you go 1, 2, 1, 2. And then eventually you find yourself at the top, right? But all you need to do is focus on like that one step in front of you. You don't need to keep like always looking at the thing that's way ahead. And then in no time, you'll find yourself there. So I think that's
Okay.
really good advice. Like
Yeah.
one step at a time.
That was like me cycling the other day. I was like, and it's a mountain I've already cycled before. I know I can do it. I've done this before, but in my head was like, you can't do this. Your legs are tired. You're tired today. Just go home, turn around, go home. And it's like, stupid voice in my head. So I literally like stopped and I ate an energy bar and I was like, right, now you got energy, now shut up. And then I like just kept going and and I made it. So it's just a matter, that voice in your head is always there. And sometimes you just have to like shut it out sometimes, just like literally just go away, which is not easy.
Yeah, I think we are out of time because